I've been on a bit of a Sonic kick lately. With both the third movie and Sonic X Shadows just around the corner, I am more than ready to see the blue blur back in action. It's just a shame that my subscribers just aren't as hyped as me. But you know what? I don't care. I'm an independent content creator. It doesn't matter if these videos won't rack in views. I make what I want. I don't need the money. All of this to say that this year has been a pretty good year for Sonic, especially for Shadow. I even bought a new Shadow shirt a few days ago. My current closet kind of looks like it's straight out of SpongeBob's emo phase. So to celebrate Shadow Generations coming out just next month, and to spice up my wardrobe a little bit, I made a purchase. Do you like it? You read the title, you already know what's going on here. Today, I'm reviewing Sonic Generations to see if after 13 years, does this game still deserve its legacy as one of the best Sonic experiences? Or has time left this game in another generation? Well, let's just hook up my GameCube controller since playing Sonic on a keyboard sounds terrible. Oh. There's no GameCube support on Steam. Yeah, so since Steam doesn't have GameCube support for Generations, I had to download an input converter that would convert my GameCube inputs into Xbox controls, meaning I'm going to be missing some of the buttons since Xbox controllers have more than GameCube. The adapter also had a 7-day trial, so I really only had 7 days to fully 100% this game. You're tired of hearing me talk about this? I'll just get it out of the way. In this video, I'll be covering the story, gameplay, art direction, characters, soundtrack, and the 100%, as well as discussing my hopes for the upcoming Shadow Generations and what I want to see them improve on. Oh, and this video will technically contain spoilers for Sonic Generations, if for some reason you cared.
And I guess we have to run like there's no tomorrow, or there won't be a tomorrow.
Starting with objectively the worst part of the game, anyone who's played Generations will know that the story is by far its weakest leg. The plot is so linear, I could genuinely act it out on my fingers and you wouldn't miss anything. Haha, it's me, Sonic, and today's my birthday. LOL. Hi Sonic, it's me, your friend Tails, and all your other friends. Pink friend, red friend, black friend, gray friend. Whoa, is that a rip in space-time? Holy cow, that's a rip in space-time. Wow, that guy literally put me and my friends in different Sonic generations. Oh, and also Baby Sonic's here. For a game about past games, you'd think Sonic Team of all companies would fill this game full of cheeky references. And while there is a lot hidden in it, the story doesn't really revolve around any. The game really doesn't have any cutscenes either. The only ones being Green Hill and Chemical Plant that really get anything about them. And both of those are just, have we been here? After those two, the only cutscenes we get are the characters regaining colors, and the occasional reminder that there is in fact an antagonistic force. The character cutscenes aren't really anything special either, usually just a wow, being dead was kinda scary. Then if you're playing classic Sonic, they'll just ask why Sonic looks different.
Hey, did you gain weight?
I think this one's kinda funny. The lack of cutscenes isn't the worst though, because it means I have to hear him talk less. Sonic's writing in the Colors Generations era just is so annoying to me. I like Sonic being cocky and making jokes. It's just, I don't want it every single sentence. He just finished a level, joke time. Just saw a time god fly across the sky, it cracks a joke. Just found guilty for evaporating a family of flickies while drunk running through Green Hill. Make a joke. This Sonic feels like I could ask him if we had homework last night and he'd go, when there's a who, there's a what, and I sure am aware. Hog. Well, if modern Sonic's writing sucks, they must have just hit it out of the park with Classic, right? And in my opinion, yeah, Classic is great. If great meant the creators didn't even write anything down. For some reason, Classic is mute the entire game. It's probably because he didn't talk in the original 2D games, but neither did Tails or Eggman, and they both have voices. It's not like Classic never had a voice either. There are several cartoons and an OVA they could have pulled inspiration from.
So now we can get down to the real fight. The last Sonic standing will be the winner. What? This world isn't big enough for both of us and one of us has to go? Well, I agree.
It's just kind of odd to me. He just feels so lacking in personality compared to the others, who already had pretty lackluster expressions. Upon entering the final boss fight, and yes, I did not skip over anything, that is quite literally all there is to the story, it is revealed that Eggman is controlling the time meter along with classic Eggman. This twist doesn't do much for me personally because even 6-year-old me saw it coming a mile away. However, I do think it's a good thing that Eggman's the final boss. Leading up to Generations, almost every final boss on the home console games, not talking about you Advance, was some kind of beast or god. And I like that. It makes power scaling really funny since Sonic's killing literal god every other Tuesday. But I think it's fitting for a celebration of a series like Generations to have the final boss be Eggman and not just some beast of the week. The final cutscene has all the friends you saved along the way jump in Avenger style to cheer you on. And for as corny as this scene is, I will admit it still gets me kind of giddy seeing everyone pop in together. One of my favorite parts of Sonic is the huge cast, so seeing them all together here, even if it was just for a moment, it's a really fun time. That's basically all there is to Generation's story. Now that we got past the negative parts, let me just slide the Glazer meter up to max, because the next section is going to be a little too positive for anyone who doesn't have as much joy as a troll. Is that joke still relevant? Do people these days care about trolls? Did anyone ever care about trolls? Can we rewrite that one?
Time to scramble some Eggman, supersonic style!
Where Generations lacks in story, it more than makes up for in its gameplay, having some of the most exciting and engaging gameplay in the series to date. The gameplay loop is very straight to the point. There's 3 eras representing classic, Dreamcast, and modern entries, each with 3 levels, 2 boss fights, and a handful of extra side missions. Both these missions and the actual levels have a first act playing as classic Sonic, and a second act playing as modern. The 2 Sonics each have unique gameplay mechanics as well. Classic plays on a 2D plane focused on platforming utilizing the spin dash but cranked up to 1000. The spin dash in this game shoots you to the literal stratosphere depending on when you use it and when you time your jump. It really reminds me of how game-breaking the move was back in the adventure games, when you could skip several minutes of the level just by spin dashing in the right place. I really like that. I know it's classic Sonic and not modern, but you know, Dreamcast fits kind of in the middle. Modern, on the other hand, plays on the 3D field, sometimes, and he trades the spin dash for the boost, as well as an assortment of moves like the stomp, slide, and drift, trading the traditional platforming for Forza Horizon 5 gameplay. From what I've heard from watching others' reviews, most people collectively agree that Classic is the weaker of the two. And while I agree that I enjoy modern Sonic's playstyle more, I do think Classic deserves credit. This is, in my opinion, the best 2D gameplay the series has ever seen. I haven't beat Mania yet, so I can't really speak on that one, but I think Generations is better, at least from what I've played, in my opinion. Every level featured in Generations is pulled straight from other games, those being Green Hill from 1, Chemical Plant from 2, Sky Sanctuary from 3 and Knuckles, Speed Highway from Adventure, City Escape from Adventure 2, Seaside Hill from Heroes, Crisis City from 06, Rooftop Run from Unleashed, and Planet Wisp from Colors. Although they're reused, they don't feel reused, if you know what I mean. Not like a certain newer game that came out recently. They're old levels, but it feels like someone kind of just scrubbed the levels free of all their rust and jank and created superior versions of their past iterations. Every level has updated designs and remixed background songs, and while I think every stage is an improvement design-wise, some of the songs are kind of hit or miss. City Escape in particular is a big miss for me. In both Act 1 and 2, the vocals are just not as good as the original from SA2. However, the level itself is objectively an upgrade, though I still like SA2 more just because of nostalgia. Each level also comes with some semi-optional missions. I say semi-optional because technically you only need to finish like 3 of them per era to progress the game, so that's like 9 out of 98. If anyone plays Generations for the first time after watching this, I do suggest trying these out though. At least the friend-specific ones. Some of the friend ones have like specific musical tracks that are only found in that mission, and I think that's kind of cool. As well as some of them have genuinely fun gimmicks, like Classic Sonic gets to fly over pits and spikes of Classic Tales, or Modern can seduce robots with Rouge's looks. Does this mean Eggman canonically programmed a sex drive into his robots? There's also missions dedicated to unlocking new skills, like classic Sonic shield missions for the Thunder, Flame, and Bubble shields, or modern getting longer boost gauge. Neither of these feel as innovative as the friend missions, but I never regretted playing them. They were a fun time. And also yes, for anyone wondering, the boost gauge can get comedically long. This is how far I got it. Instead of covering the levels, then the bosses, I'm going to talk about the bosses first because I'm not like the rest. Each era has a rival battle and a boss battle, those being Metal Sonic and the Death Egg Robot for Classic Era, Shadow and Perfect Chaos for Dreamcast, and Silver and the Egg Dragoon for Modern. Each rival battle plays pretty much the same. Run alongside your opponent until they either do an unsafe charge attack, you get more shiny purple balls than them, or they throw out too many telekinesis cards. They're fun fights, but nothing to write to dad about. The boss fights, however, are where it's at. Out of the three, I would say Perfect Chaos was probably my favorite to replay, but I think that's because the Egg Dragoon fight was heavily nerfed by the fact that I didn't have an RB and LB button, so I couldn't really dodge properly. No matter what I set my controls to, these two buttons just wouldn't input for some reason. The Death Egg fight is great as well, but it was over before I even realized. I could have literally sneezed and missed more than half the fight. The final boss is, of course, the Time Eater, controlled by both Eggman and Dr. Ivo Robotnik. But nobody calls him that anymore. Yes, they do. You call yourself that. Unfortunately, this is by far the weakest of the boss fights. You're literally just holding down the forward button for the entirety of the fight. You don't even take damage, so there's not even consequences to hitting anything. You just tank whatever he hits you with. He also has his time stop move where it doesn't even hurt you. It literally just slows down the game for like 10 seconds. I don't know if it's like hard coded that he always does this, but like 90% of the time he always prep drills after time stopping. I think he's genuinely trying to be Dio. There's also no unique vocal track, no Open Your Heart, no Live and Learn, no What I'm Made Of. This game just doesn't have anything climactic like that. Just some generic ominous music. The most memorable part of this fight for me was the fact that I literally could not beat it on my first run, because the end section has a scripted moment where it requires you to press RB and LB. I had gone the entire game getting away with not using those two buttons just to be gatekept from finishing the game without them.
We'll end it.
Oh my god. Oh no. Rather than going through every stage one by one and extending the video by like an hour, here's a tier list to look at while I just talk about one of them. I guess. I don't know. They're all good. Every level in this game feels completely unique from each other. From the environment, to the platforming, to my personal favorite, the enemies. I'm a big niche character head, alright? So I played through Seaside Hill and fighting all the egg pawns, then hopping over the rooftop run and seeing the switch to egg fighter. It's just like, it tickles a certain part of my brain. It obviously makes sense, you know, different levels have different enemies. That's always how it's been. But I don't know, just seeing like the different games and like the variety of enemies, I really like it. It's cool. I like that. Do I sound dumb? I think I sound dumb. It's just so cool to me when every level has unique enemies found only there, almost. Like if I ask you to describe Skyskank... Like if I asked you to describe Sky Sanctuary, I can't say that word. Wow. Like if I asked you to describe Sky Sanctuary, what is that word? If I asked you to describe the Sonic 3 stage, you'd obviously know, oh, you got your egg robos, but then in Speed Highway, you got your cop speeders. Does that make sense? Back to the environment. Even with 4 different city-esque levels, each one of them has a different and unique feel to them. Like, look at Speed Highway and Crisis City. 2 levels you can never mix up. That's because one of them takes place during the night, and the other takes place in, you know, literal fiery hell, but you get what I mean. If you look at the bottom of this tier list, you'll notice a Planet Wisp safely placed in C. It's a take as old as time. I'm not going to try and sugarcoat it. Yeah, this stage is just not good. Not very good, really. The time attack mission for this level gives you an ample 6 minutes. I could edit or fact check that. I think it was like 5. It might have been, I think it was 6. Is it 6? As the S rank requirement. Longer levels aren't necessarily bad. I mean, Eggman Land from Unleashed was one of my favorite levels, and I was like 20 minutes on a good run. But this one in particular just feels really stretched out, especially in a game full of high-speed movement like Generations. It also just feels extremely underwhelming as the final level. Like, again, look at Eggman Land or Final Chase. They're both great tests before the big bad, making you go through everything you've learned throughout the game. That's a great final level. That's how a platforming final level should be. Planet Wisp just doesn't do that. The only thing Planet Wisp tests is my patience. It's running very thin. It might also just because I don't really have a connection to colors like I do the other games. It's the only game of the 9 represented that I just have never played. The stage really doesn't do much other than having rather great visuals. Speaking of visuals, Generations was unfortunately crafted during a kind of slump when it came to art direction, in my opinion. When I think of great Sonic visuals, I think of like the Dreamcast and GameCube eras with your Sonic Adventure, your Adventure 2s, your Shadow 5s, your Heroes. I think that is like where I would look at to be the best looking Sonic. And that might be, I'm just like I might just be nostalgia brained. I probably am. But that, in my opinion, is where I would go to if I was to make a Sonic game graphic-wise. And then obviously Unleashed has the best CG cutscenes. And I'll admit, Generations has some pretty great-looking scenes. The chopper at the end of Green Hill, or the rail section above the clock tower and Rooftop Run, that looks awesome. That one looks super cool. It just doesn't have the same charm visually as Adventure 1 or 2 to me. I guess? I don't know. I'm probably just being a nostalgic critic. The game does look super really great. I'm running out of sentences. The game looks good. It's, I don't know, it just kind of looks saturated sometimes. The characters leave, like Sonic, he looks kind of sickly. But like, it's not an experience ruining. I would just put it in A instead of S graphics wise.
He'll be here any second.
Hey guys, what's going on? You having a party or something?
Surprise!
Aw, you guys.
There's nothing.
Thank you, son.
Okay, in all seriousness, I really like how many characters are represented in this game. Yeah, all of Team Sonic plus Amy, yeah, Cream, Chaotix, Shadow, Silver, Rouge. I put Silver twice on my script, and there's also Blaze. It's a really respectable roster for a non-adventure game. Each character also gets a mission for both Sonics. One where they'll be assisting you in traversing the level, and another where you'll be versing them in some kind of race or fight. And this is all good fun, but for me, their inclusions outside the missions is just most interaction you'll give them is talking to them outside their level, but even then, that's just them giving you hints to red rings, which I do think is a really good feature. That helped me out a few times when I just had no clue where to go. Or giving you a pat on the back for completing a level. Their dialogue are basically copy and paste. Like, no, seriously, try and tell me who's saying each of these. Comment them down below and I'll like give you a virtual high five or like call you out in the next Sonic video. Not call you out, I mean like Shadow, I will not call you out. Unless you do get it wrong, and then I will call you out and I have all my subs publicly ostracize you, so like, get it right, I guess? I don't know. Maybe I'm just expecting too much because Adventure 1 and 2 are my favorite Sonic games, and in those we kind of get to see the character's full arc from their perspective. But the characters in this game really just feel like cardboard cutouts. If the missions didn't exist, this would be like a genuine complaint. But luckily, the missions do make them more memorable. Except Vector. Vector's modern mission angered me greatly. You like bounce this music note back and forth for a sleep-inducing amount of time before it begins to leave, and then you have to track it down. Did he fumble? Did he fumble? What's happening here? I lose from that? Huh? What? Say that again? You track the music note. What's another word for music? I don't know. Sound? Say it backward. It's a sound you Oh. It's a Sonic game. I don't care if it was Pong with a blue color scheme pasted over. Of course it's gonna have an amazing OST. Be for real now. As I mentioned before, each level and boss gets a remix theme, varying from extremely memorable to only slightly different compared to its original. The devs actually hide a lot of cool references in these tracks, like the music before the Death Egg robot being a remix of Eggman from SA2. Or the background theme for the collection room being a remix of Door into Summer from Knuckles Chaotix. There's also a really cool feature which allows you to change the regular song roll level to a song from a bank of about 90 tracks. Some of those even being from games not represented, like Shadow 5's I Am All of Me and Black Knight's Night of the Wind. My favorite usage of this is to swap levels like Speed Highway or Seaside Hill with the lyrical main themes from the respective games. Seaside Hill just feels different running along the Sonic Heroes. Feels like I'm missing two of my friends. There's minimal levels in this game. Besides that, I really don't know what to say about the OST. It's Sonic. It's great. It's amazing. It could be the worst game ever, and I'd still have to rate this one a 10 out of 10.
Well, I know it was one of us. Shut up and keep looking.
I'm gonna assume everyone watching knows what 100% is referring to, but for the uninitiated, this section will be covering how enjoyable it is to completely finish all the game's contents, outside just the main story. For Generations, this means collecting every red ring star, S-ranking every level, completing all the side missions, as well as fulfilling any task to unlock an achievement on Steam. Generations has a healthy 49 achievements, many of which will be collected just through playing the game normally, such as the achievements for clearing individual levels and bosses, collecting all the Chaos Emeralds, beating the game, executing a 7-step combo, beating 100 enemies, forming all Sonic actions, and at least one of the S-rank achievements, unless you kind of just are bad at the video game. Like, the only way to not get an S rank in this game is if you die. If you can't survive these S ranks, you would not have survived Sonic Adventure 2, kiddo. Next are some achievements you could feasibly attain just through exploring the game each level. However, you could miss them. These are your S ranking 3 and 7, completing Green Hill without dropping any rings, as well as finding the secret spring in Act 1, clearing Chemical Plant without entering the water, clearing Sky Sanctuary without falling, destroying 3 cars in Cityscape, dodging the cars thrown by the tornado in Crisis City, and finding the hidden red ring stars hidden throughout the alternate pathing in Speed Highway, Seaside Hill, Rooftop Run, and Planet Wisp. Finally, there's a couple of post-game achievements, such as beating Green Hill in 1 minute or less, finishing the level of Supersonic, talking to all of Sonic's friends. This one technically isn't locked, but why would you do it before? Beating the final boss without being touched, completing 50% and 100% of all the side missions, as well as an achievement for completing all the friend missions. Then you get your collectible achievements, like for getting all the skills, all the collectibles, and all the red rings. There's also 3 more online mode achievements. 1 for joining the rankings board, 1 for participating in the 30-second trial, and 1 for beating every level in time attack mode. These ones aren't hard, they're just kind of weird. For some reason, the online mode is really finicky. Sometimes trying to load a level or even just switching which level you're going to will crash your game. It's not even just a me problem either, it's consistent enough that when I looked it up, several results came up. And there wasn't even like an actual answer, it just happens. It's basically luck whether or not you're allowed to play the game. I didn't really enjoy the time attack achievement for this because it would sometimes just boot me out. It would take just 5 minutes to get back into the game. And also, there's already a time attack mission in the base game for each level, where you play against a Ghost Sonic, encouraging you to pull out all your tricks so you can reach the goal faster than the CPU. The time trials online just kind of feel like doing that again. It's just too redundant. I also found the no-hit boss achievement to be kind of annoying. Not because the boss is hard or anything, no, the boss is so easy I let my cat beat it. The problem is that there's many times where debris would just spawn on you, not really giving you a chance to react. That was just kind of annoying. I don't have a way to fix it or anything, I'm just gonna complain about it. It's my video, not yours. I think Generations is a prime example of how you do achievements. The formula of unlock through main gameplay, as well as requiring some more inside, deeper dives, and then endgame collectibles, that's just peak achievements in my opinion. It's a perfect way of giving your game replayability without handing out achievements for just breathing the right way. There's also not like an achievement for this or anything, but I just thought I'd mention it because I think it's cool. There's a secret collection room you can unlock by standing in between the moving art holders and investing $10,000 into Dogecoin and subscribing to my channel while doing a handstand, then commenting Sonic Generations heart emoji. A hole will open and swallow Sonic whole. I'll wait, you can laugh. Get it? A hole will open and swallow Sonic whole. And it means different things both times because it's a oh, is it a homophone? I think it's a homophone. In this collection room, you can input passcodes to see trophies of your favorite characters, like Sonic, Tails, Dark Shao, Spring 1, the Chaos Emeralds, this thing, and of course, Spring 2. When it comes to controversies, I really can't think of anything for base Generations. Most people overall agree that Generations is a pretty great game, even with some lackluster storytelling. I guess Generations on the 3DS was kind of weird, but it's way more than I can get into this video. and I also think Sega probably forgot that a port existed. However, I have seen some complaints of Shadow Generations. Namely, Sega marketed the graphics as being updated. However, if you look at trailers, they really don't look updated in base Generations. Also, apparently people think the soundtrack feels too EDM heavy. For the graphics part, I understand people being annoyed it was promoted as upgraded, but I personally don't care if it is or not. You know, if it's not broken, don't fix it kind of thing. I've really just been excited for this game because Shadow is the main selling point to me. I completely forgot it even came with Generations. When it comes to the EDM complaints, I don't know, I like it. I listened to the controversial Chaos Island remix and it sounds really cool to me, and it fits Shadow's motifs. But when approaching these controversies, my final answer is really just wait till release and we'll see if it works out or not. We're only really getting a peek of what's to come. Finally, for this video, I like to cover my hopes for Shadow Generations as the future of Generations and possibly Shadow's story. Getting the obvious out of the way, more achievements. I just want more achievements. I don't know how long Shadow will be. Rephrase. Truthfully, I've only watched a few trailers because I kind of want to go in pretty blind. But all I'm hoping is for a worthwhile experience. I don't want this to be another Forces where it's just full of linear levels and I could finish in about 3 hours. Give me something to chew on and I can come back to and enjoy. Gameplay wise, Shadow Gens already looks... I could have shortened it to Gens this entire time. Why have I been saying Generations? Oh my god. It already looks better than base Gens. They literally made the be average meme real. I don't expect any improvements to the story, nor do I really care, to be honest. Sonic storytelling hasn't really been up there since Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Nowadays, all I'm asking for is Sega to just give me a worthwhile experience. Also, please make the final boss hard. I'm not trying to be like one of those stupid, like, Elden Ring, like, I play hard games and that makes me cool. Just don't make it be Time Eater, man. That sucked. That really was... It's just too easy. It really is. Just give me something to play. I want to play a game. That's what I want. That's what I want from you, Sega. Give me a game I can play. That's all I'm asking for. Also, please put Almost Dead and The Chosen One somewhere in the game. I don't care if it's just tracks I can switch out or if it actually plays. Just give, those are such good songs. And I wish on my tier list video I put them higher because I've been listening to them every day since then. And they are peak, I tell you, to the bone, peak.
Is this what I have become?
Also, please give Shadow a gun. I know, people didn't like it, I know, whatever. It's been long enough. Give him his guns, please. Also, please add Shadow in it, thank you. I really like him. So, does Sonic Generations deserve the legacy it's gained over the years? In my opinion, yeah. Each level, not you, was a genuine joy to replay, despite having to play them probably like 15 times each for the first completion, the missions, the time attack, and any missing red rings I didn't snag my first run. I didn't really feel drained or annoyed by the repetition until the very end with the time attack mode. But the levels feel almost infinitely replayable. It's a different experience each time, and I think that is a really, really hard task to pull off in a platforming. It's by no means a perfect gaming experience. As I said before, I have my gripes with the story and character writing, which are two aspects I know some people don't care about, but for me, I do really value a story in my video games, and I enjoy having well-written characters. However, I think in this circumstance, the gameplay really does just carry everything else on its back, but it carries a heavy load, but it is strong enough to carry it. And I do think that the final boss is in dire need of a rework. I don't know if they're going to touch it at all. Like I said, I have not been following the trailers too much. I don't know if it's like a remaster or if they're just, you know, quote unquote bumping the graphics up. Although I would really appreciate a rework, I'm not going to sweat it if it's not. All in all, I would say great Sonic experience, probably an S tier Sonic game, and like tippity top of A overall for, like, you know, any game.